We are live. Hi, Abby.
Hi, Sophie. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday.
Okay, Abby, tomorrow you have the midterm election, it's called, right, in the US?
Yes, and I'm looking down for 1 second because I'm gonna pull up Facebook and be looking in case there's questions. But yes.
So everybody, welcome to our call. So today we're going to talk about how do we deal with our existing system of governance, right? And get ready because I'm just going to express myself here, right? And
Bring it on, Sophie.
the opinions, evaluation, just think for yourself, right? So where I want to start, Abby, is that every system of governance since the Greek, which was 500 years before Jesus Christ, right? Athens. Every system of governance is based on the ego, meaning look to the external world for power, control, domination, survival. Every single system of governance, including democracy. Democracy is at the top of the pile. Still, it is a pursuit of external power. Right? So that's so. I don't care what they're called. I don't care what they profess. I don't care what they say.
Right.
And because we've reached the point in our evolution where we're shifting from Homo sapiens, the reign of the ego, survival, looking to the external world for survival, to Homo spiritus, connected to your soul, every system of governance is now redundant, unstable, unworkable, and destructive.
Wow.
Every single one.
Wow.
China, America, France, Russia, Ukraine, India, I mean, the entire world, they are redundant. And it is absolutely no point trying to fix them or change them or make them better. They are failing, they will fail, they are now violent and destructive, and they cannot be fixed because they are not broken. They are unworkable.
They're doing what they were built to do.
Absolutely. They are not broken.
Wow. Yeah.
So you can fix them.
Right. Yep.
It's just unworkable.
Okay, so when you say that, first of all, I mean, I agree with you. Really, it's all broken. They were built on systems that don't work. But my first reaction,
they were created to survive.
Right, they were created to survive.
Yeah.
So my first reaction is like, whoa, that's big. Like that's a lot. That's the whole world's governments are
redundant.
Okay. So now what, Sophie? Sophie, help us.
We really have to get it, right? It's like what we build is that control flows from the top.
Yeah.
Right? And there is control at the top, and then there is everybody being governed. Right? And in most systems, if you don't follow the rules of governance, then you have torture, death, and prison.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a dead end. It's not possible, right? I mean, the American Constitution was based on the model. It's exactly like the Athenian Constitution. You know, the Athenian, they voted. They didn't vote. They had a lottery to see who will govern, but they excluded the slave and the woman. They were not citizens. Right, well, the founding fathers, because there was no woman, mothers, that created
founding mothers, yeah.
2,000 years later, the same,
The same.
right? And the history of even the democracies are violent, Abby.
Mhm. Oh
I mean,
my
I'm not
God.
even talking about dictatorship or monarchy or, I mean, violence.
So epically violent, horrendously violent.
Yeah, now we have evolved, right? So now our system of democracy are designed to shift the external power without violence. Before there was violence, right? So now we vote and you shift from Republicans to Democrat. In France, it's right to left or far right to far left or whatever, right? So, but you shift the power and it's designed to try to avoid violence. But it's filled with deceits, treachery,
Yep.
meanness, lies, domination, control, the pursuit of external power, the reign of survival, right?
Yeah. And the violence just kind of hides in different forms now. It still trickles down, the violence trickles down from that space.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter even if you have a government that is caring and nice and say that, you know, they take care of people, it's still or violent and, you know, totally not even hiding the righteousness. It cannot work because it's based on survival. Even if you have a good intention, it cannot work. A revolution will not work. You cannot change the system. You have to evolve another system. You have to leave that system be and evolve to another one.
So you're saying that because the system is doing what it was meant to do, not really broken, just doesn't work because it's based on violence and all the other things.
No, it is because
And survival.
it's external power, therefore it calls for violence. Violence is a rise, domination, control.
Oh, it's the reaction to the.
Yeah,
it's like
it's the outcome if you want.
Okay.
Right? If you need to look to the external world for power, what are you going to do when you don't?
When you don't get what you want? Right. Okay. So you're saying that we have to actually choose as a society to leave the old behind and create something
Yes,
brand new.
because you can't fix it. It's not broken. Right? So that's where the Homo spiritus, the soul, comes into the picture. We need to create a system that is based on the soul.
Wow.
On the perspective and the values and the principle of the soul. That is what needs to create the new system. Not the character, the personality, or the ego.
Right.
But the soul. Hence what I always say, the shift from Homo sapiens to Homo spiritus. And by the way, if you're listening to Abby and I'm going to say it one more time. You need to disentangle your ego. This is the only way you will move to Homo spiritus. Disentangle your ego. It takes 14 sessions on my self-guided course, or I will lead a course in January where you can do it with me. It is essential to disentangle your ego, right? So the alternative to the ego-driven, survival-designed governance systems we have is to create one that is aligned with your soul values, I mean, soul essence. That's the only way. So, you know, the marching, the revolution, the improvement, all the movement. I mean, my heart goes out with it. I just love the wanting to change and all that, but it's useless. Sorry, Abby, I know you love to.
But I would say, don't you think that we've only gotten to the point in our consciousness and evolution that we're in now because of people that have stood for what is right and just?
But where are we? Where are we? We're on the brink of a third world war.
Oh, right, because the powers that be are still, regardless, they're still in charge
because
of
most
everything.
of the world population is still stuck in survival. So the question is, how can we contribute to the emergence of a new social structure? And then it's not by changing the past. It's by aligning with your soul. There is no other way.
And
That's why I
creating
say
something.
disentangle your ego, get an experience of what the ego is so that you can authentically be aligned with your soul, because how you contribute to that evolution. I mean, really, we live in very exciting times. You don't want to miss the train.
I love that. We are. Yep.
Well, we are. It's
Yeah.
also terrible, but it's, I mean,
Yeah, but I think what you're saying is true in a way, because it's, I mean, I've heard many people say, like, those of us who are here right now, we were born for these times. Like, we're here for these times to be a part of this evolution.
yeah. You know, for the ego, Abby, for the system of governance of the ego and the ego in general and survival, we want to change the physical world in order to survive, in order to stop the pain, to stop the suffering, to have relief from anxiety, to have relief from hating oneself, from not having for but that's not how it works. You don't need to change the world. You don't need you don't need to go and do something to try to change and repair a system that is not broken. What you need to do is go inside and deal with yourself, with your lack of love for yourself, your judgment, your evaluation, your racism, your lack of love, that is where you can contribute.
Do you think, Sophie, that if enough of us, which, I mean, and there are lots and lots of people doing this kind of work, right? That if enough of us are doing this work, that something new will naturally arise from that, like it will, spontaneously be birthed from enough of us?
Of course, because the world is just a mirror of who we are, Abby. It's just a mirror of who we are. This systemic crisis on the brink of the Third World War, talk about using nuclear weapon, people dying of hunger, people being killed, is a reflection of our internal state. The external world is a reflection of what is going on inside. So when enough of us will be located, aligned with our soul and in love, the external world will shift. It will. We don't need to try to change those that look for power in the external world. We need to just do what we need to do to be the kind of human being that lead the way to bring the soul into the picture. You work on yourself. You know, like Gandhi always say, be the change you want to see in the world. It is so profound. I know people say it right, left, and center, but you need to get it. It's within ourselves. What were you going to say?
I just, as you're speaking, how when you're listening to someone speaking, it within you rises up what you need to see about it. So I don't know, that's how I listen. And as you're speaking, I'm seeing images of people that I know in my world that have done incredible things. And most of them are people that have they're beings that are filled with such love that they create something for their communities. It's usually something grassroots. They create something for their community that is so beautiful and so touching and so moving, because it comes from this place of like pure love and meeting what that community needs in such a pure way. that is unencumbered by like the tangles of larger webs. It's like just these solid, loving humans that are like, okay, my community needs this. We're planting trees. And it's just stunning. Like I'm sure if anyone's listening, I'm sure plenty of people know people like that in their communities or other communities that just, you know, they just embody love, and what they need to do in the world rises from them.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, they don't have them and I, those people you talk about, right? Because that's also survival, right? This experience of separatedness.
Yeah.
Like the people that don't have any power or water in Ukraine right now, or those Russians that are called into the army and they don't want to, they're not them. It's not them.
Wow.
It's us.
Wow. That's beautiful.
You know, I have this friend that is very wealthy, and she goes on this cruise, and she with very wealthy people, and she sends me a message saying, oh, she's very awakened, right? She's awakened. She has shifted from ego to being connected to her soul. And she said, oh, I'm battling. It must be because they're wealthy and powerful. I said, no, that has nothing to do with it. It's because they're wealthy, powerful, and unconscious.
Right.
That's lethal. That's lethal, right? Because you're going to go survive even more.
Wow.
You have more means to survive.
Yep.
So what's the alternative, right? Seek the people, and there will be some wealthy, powerful, and conscious, awakened. Or if you can't meet any in your group, you need to provide leadership. You see, that's what I do all the time. If they're not interested, I just don't speak. I stay silent. I'm not going to go into the world of survival. You'd be amazed how those conversations are irresistible for people. Because people know they're trapped.
Yeah.
And why don't I never stop? Why do I always say something? Because there is no separation. The world is the way it is. I'm not outside of the world. I'm it. It's a
Powerful.
mirror.
That's powerful. Yeah. You're reminding me of a quote that I really love that is probably in language that you wouldn't necessarily use, but it says, a colonized mind hears ours and thinks possession. It's mine. A decolonized mind hears ours and thinks collective. And I was like, wow, that's what you just said is that for me. It's like that shift from like me, I'm this, I'm that, you're this, you're that, to like us.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know, there is nothing to govern when you're aligned with your soul. You know, our world is so complicated.
Yeah.
Oh,
so complicated. Yeah.
So complicated. There is so many rules and laws and administrative structures and stuff and insurance and oh la, right? But when you align with your soul and you come from love, what is there to govern? What is there to govern? You know, the ego world sees everything as an obstacle, a barrier, a problem to overcome, to fix, to change, to dominate, to control. But from the perspective of the soul, there is nothing to control.
Oh my gosh, that's just like the Tao Te Ching.
The what?
The Tao Te Ching. I've never heard somebody speak about it like in modern language, how you are right now, but that's exactly what they say about governing people in in the Tao.
Now,
There
of
is no
course,
governing.
you have to deal with your intellect, right? Because your mind says, what? Am I not going to do anything? I'm going to watch people with a black skin being imprisoned based on the color of the skin. I'm not going to do anything. No. But you need to provide leadership, being aligned with your soul. You need to love the jailers as well as much as the prisoners. Tough, right?
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
So how do you deal with an election coming up, right? What do you do, knowing that it makes no difference? Well, you choose someone, the most awakened person you can get an experience of, knowing that it's all based on survival.
Mm. So it's like you play the game, but you know it's a game right now. Is that what you're saying?
No, you know it's the dying game.
Mm.
It will not work, whatever happens. That's why I'm not too anxious, right? It's because, well, it's not working. Whatever, it is not working, and it will not work until we get aligned with our soul.
Wow. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It's not that it's funny. It's that paradox of being alive, right? It's like it doesn't matter really. And yet it does, because we're here and we're interacting with it. But at the same time,
It's not that it doesn't matter. It won't make a difference.
mm,
It will not make a difference. Survival is survival. Being aligned with your soul is being aligned with your soul. It's either one or the other.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Sophie. Oh, it's uncomfortable. I mean, but it's powerful. I think that's where the power is in this conversation. It does kind of like, it's frictiony, but it's where we need to
That's
stand.
why we love Gandhi and Martin Luther
Yeah.
King and Mother Teresa and Jesus Christ and Socrates, right? They just loved. They were aligned with their souls. We can do it.
Yeah. That's right. We can do it.
Of course we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the only thing that will make a difference.
Mm.
Love everybody, all the time, everywhere. All right, I wonder if we have any comments.
Yeah, let me see. I did just see one pop up. Let's see. Okay, great. So we have, hi everyone, Elizabeth, Nancy, Malu. Okay, I'm going to read all of what you have to say, but we'll start with Elizabeth. So Elizabeth says, what if you've already done this work and now I have the purpose to help humanity?
Well, humanity doesn't need help, it needs education. You only help a helpless person. Nobody is helpless. Everybody has to make a choice. Educate people, don't help them.
That's great. Elizabeth, thanks for being here. So Nancy says, know them or us. A new word I have is we-ness. I hope this is on replay as I have to leave for an appointment. So powerful today playing the soul game. Thanks, Nancy. Yeah, it will be. It'll be on replay. And we also post these on YouTube, just so you folks know if you want to share the links or anything like that. They're always on.
Subscribe to our channel. We have a channel on YouTube. I think it's very cool.
Yes, it is. It's very cool. And we have a playlist that is for the Monday calls. So they're all just in a row there. Okay, Malu. Hi, it's so good to have you, Malu. She says, you speak of the systemic crisis a lot, but I tend to see a lot of signs for a systemic shift. There is a lot going on. Yeah. Both. It's beautiful.
Yeah, fortunately, that's why we said it's the most exciting time to be alive. I really do think we're going to shift. We are shifting. It's my intuition. it's like, but it's not easy. I
Mm-mm.
mean, there is an enormous amount of suffering, and the more people resist the shift, the more suffering there is.
Yeah,
But I think it is an exciting time in our evolution.
I agree. And
And
anyone, which I'm sure anyone who's here on this call has done work on themselves and done healing work. And everybody knows that, like, that point where you're really healing is not, it's not fun. It's not like, yeah, it's hard. It's challenging. So I think that's what we're in collectively. We're in that healing space that's like, oh, we're getting there. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and sitting with us. We just love having you here. I know I can always feel everyone sitting with us here in this circle. So it's wonderful. Thank you.
okay, Abby,
And
thank
Sophie,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't remember how I stopped. Oh, there it is.
Bye,
Okay,
everyone.
bye.
Bye, Sophie.